If you think you know the Healer family house in Bluey, take a closer look, because hidden all across that house are details most viewers have never noticed. Tiny design choices, secret references, and background clues that quietly reveal more about the Healer family than any single episode ever explains. We're talking about things like a safety decision hidden in the girl's bedroom, a fossil from Bandit's job sitting in the living room, secret tributes to the studio that made the show, and even objects that hint at moments in the family's past. And the craziest part? Many of these details appear on screen for just a few seconds, which means millions of fans have watched the show for years without ever realizing they were there. So today, we're going inside the Healer house and uncovering 30 hidden secrets you probably never noticed. Starting with something almost everyone walks past without realizing what it is. Secret number 1. The bed placement is a safety decision. This one stopped a lot of people when they first noticed it, because it looks like a simple interior design choice, but it isn't. Bluey sleeps near the window. Bingo sleeps near the door. And that arrangement isn't random. It follows an actual child safety guideline. Younger children are kept away from windows because windows present more hazards: falling, drafts, accessibility risks. And in an emergency, the recommended approach is to help the youngest child first, which means Bingo, sleeping closest to the door, can be reached and evacuated more quickly. The Bluey team didn't just design a cute bedroom. They designed a safe one, and they did it so quietly that it took years for most viewers to even pick up on it. That detail says everything about the kind of show Bluey actually is. Secret number 2. Chili is marking the girl's heights on a cabinet. In the episode Bingo, there's a cabinet visible in one of the scenes. And if you look at it carefully, you'll notice something marked along the side of it in chalk: height measurements. Chili has been tracking how tall Bluey and Bingo are getting by marking their heights directly onto the cabinet, the way parents have been doing on door frames and walls for generations. You can see the progression. The little lines climbing upward over the years, each one a quiet record of how much these two kids have grown. It's such a universally recognizable parenting detail that it hits differently when you notice it. Because suddenly, the Healer house isn't just an animated set. It's a home where time actually passes, where children actually grow, where a mom cared enough to keep track. That chalk on the cabinet is one of the most human details in the entire show. Secret number 3. The kiwi rug. Walk into the girls' playroom and look down. That rug on the floor? It's a kiwi. Not the fruit. Well, actually, it is the fruit. But here's where it gets interesting. Kiwi isn't just a fruit. It's also the name of New Zealand's national bird. And New Zealand, of course, is where Mackenzie is from. So, is this rug just a fun, fruity decoration? Maybe. Or maybe it's a quiet little nod to Mackenzie's home country, tucked into the playroom floor where most viewers never think to look twice. The Bluey team doesn't do things by accident. So next time you're in the playroom, look down. Secret number 4. The fruit rug in the sister's bedroom. The kiwi in the playroom isn't the only fruit rug in the Healer house. Head into Bluey and Bingo's bedroom and look at the floor again. The rug in there is a watermelon, a big, bright, colorful watermelon right in the middle of the bedroom floor. And when you put it next to the kiwi rug in the playroom, a pattern starts to emerge. The Healer house uses fruit as a design theme throughout. It keeps the space feeling colorful, playful, and alive, which makes complete sense for a home with 2 young kids running around in it constantly. It's the kind of interior design choice that feels chaotic on the surface, but is actually very deliberate underneath. Would you have a fruit rug in your house? Honestly, after seeing how it looks in the Healer home, it's not the worst idea. Secret number 5. Bluey's bed has an uppercase B. Bingo's has a lowercase b. Still in the bedroom. Look at the beds. Bluey's bed has a large uppercase B on it. Bingo's bed has a small lowercase b. At first glance, it just looks like decoration. A cute way of labeling whose bed is whose. But there's actually a logic to it that goes beyond aesthetics. Uppercase for the older sister, lowercase for the younger one. It's a size reference built right into the design. Big B for the big kid, little b for the little kid. Simple, clever, and the kind of thing you completely miss unless you're specifically looking for it. The Bluey design team really did think of everything. Secret number 6, Bluey has a pet fish. Most people have watched the Healer house dozens of times and still never notice this. But if you look closely during some backyard scenes, you'll spot a small pond. And inside, it lives Bluey's pet fish. The pond appears after Bluey asks her parents to build one in the backyard, and it quietly becomes home to a few fish. One of them stands out immediately, a bright orange one that's hard to miss once you know it's there. And that color might not be random. It's almost the exact same shade as Chili and Bingo's fur, a subtle little detail the Bluey team may have added to visually connect the fish to Bluey's family. You can catch it in a few episodes if you look carefully during wide shots of the garden. Most viewers never notice it, but now that you know it's there, you probably will. Secret number 7, the chimney spins. This one is almost impossible to catch in real time. In every episode that opens with an exterior shot of the Healer house, you can see the chimney on the roof. Standard detail, right? Except, if you watch carefully, that chimney spins. It rotates. It's one of those whirligig-style spinning chimney caps that you sometimes see on houses in Australia, designed to improve ventilation. It's a completely accurate architectural detail hidden in a background shot that lasts about 2 seconds at the start of each episode. Nobody notices it, but now that you know it's there, you'll never be able to unsee it. Secret number 8. The entire house is finished in wood. Step back and look at the Healer house as a whole. No concrete, no metal, no cold, hard surfaces anywhere on the exterior. The entire finishing of the house is wood. Warm, natural, classic timber construction that gives the whole building a particular kind of character. It's the kind of house that feels lived in from the outside. The kind of house that looks like a family actually exists inside it, rather than a showroom model. It's a very deliberate design choice, and it makes the Healer home feel grounded and real in a way that a lot of animated houses simply don't. It also happens to be a very accurate representation of a certain style of Queensland residential architecture. The classic Queenslander home, built on stilts, finished in timber, designed for the heat and humidity of subtropical Australia. Just watch out for termites. Secret number 9, the succulents out front. On the subject of the exterior, take a look at the front of the house before you go inside. There's a stone pot sitting near the entrance, and inside it are a collection of colorful, distinctive plants. Those are succulents, specifically a type of ornamental succulent that's popular in Australian gardens for being both low maintenance and genuinely beautiful. They're not a random prop. They're accurate to the kind of plants you'd actually find outside a Brisbane home. It's a small thing, but it's another example of the Bluey team doing their research, filling the background of their show with details that are real, specific, and true to the world they're depicting. Secret number 10, the mailbox. Tells you the house number and what that means for the neighbors. Before you step inside, check the mailbox. The Healer family lives at number 2 on their street. Number 2, which means they're in the first even-numbered house on the block. And if you know how street numbering works, odd numbers on one side, even on the other. That means some interesting things about where their neighbors live. It's very likely that Judo lives at number 1, right across the street or next door. And Lucky's family, probably number 3, just along from the Healers. Now, none of this has been officially confirmed by the show, but the numbers work out. And for a show that puts this much thought into its background details, it would be more surprising if the house numbers were random than if they actually meant something. We're inside the house now, and if you thought the outside was packed with hidden details, just wait. Secret number 11, Chili seasons. Her food with salt and pepper. Head into the Healer kitchen and look at the counter. Tucked in the corner, easy to miss if you're not specifically looking for them, are a pair of salt and pepper shakers. It's such an ordinary domestic detail that it barely registers when you're watching an episode. But that's exactly the point. The Bluey team fills this kitchen with the kind of small, real objects that actual families have in their homes. The kind of things that sit in the corner of a counter for years without anyone really thinking about them. It tells you something about Chili as a cook. She seasons properly. She cares about the food she makes. And honestly, given the way the Healer family dinners are portrayed throughout the show, that tracks completely. Would you like to try a dinner made by Chili? Based on those shakers alone, it's probably worth it. Secret number 12, There's a garlic braid above the counter, still in the kitchen. Look up slightly from the shakers. Above the salt and pepper, mounted on the wall, there appears to be a garlic braid, a bunch of garlic heads tied together and hung up the way serious home cooks sometimes store them. It's a very specific kitchen detail, not the kind of thing you add to a background just to fill space. Garlic braids are a real culinary tradition, and the fact that one is hanging in the Heeler kitchen tells you something more about the kind of cooking that happens in this house. This isn't a family that eats plain food. Chili is cooking with intention, with flavor, and someone in that house clearly knows their way around a kitchen well enough to keep fresh garlic hanging on the wall. Combined with the salt and pepper shakers, the Heeler kitchen is quietly telling you a whole story about the family's food culture, one background detail at a time. Secret number 13. The pineapple vase is a studio tribute. Walk into the living room and look around. You've probably seen the pineapple sitting there before without thinking much about it. It looks like a simple decoration, a quirky tropical vase that fits the colorful style of the Heeler home. But it may actually mean more than that. The pineapple is believed to be a tribute to Ludo Studio, the animation studio behind Bluey. So when you spot a pineapple somewhere in the house, whether it's in the living room or even on the surfboard in the garage, it may be the studio quietly signing their work. It's a bit like an artist hiding their initials inside a painting, and once you notice it, you'll probably start spotting pineapples all over the show. Secret number 14. The beach picture in the living room tells a story. Still in the living room, take a look at the pictures on the wall. One of them is easy to miss, a beach scene showing sand, seashells, and a tennis ball. At first, it just looks like ordinary coastal artwork, the kind many Australian homes have. But look a little closer. Sand, shells, and a tennis ball. That detail makes it feel less like generic decoration and more like a memory, a specific day at the beach captured and framed on the wall. Someone in the Heeler family was likely there when that moment happened. We may never get an episode explaining it, but the fact that it's displayed at all suggests that day meant something to them. Secret number 15. Bandit keeps a fossil paw print under the TV. Look underneath the television in the living room, there's a stone sitting there, and pressed into that stone is the imprint of a dog's paw. It's easy to miss because it sits below the main eye line of most scenes and blends into the background furniture, but once you see it, it's unmistakable. This is Bandit's. Of course it is. He's an archaeologist. Finding and preserving ancient remains is literally his profession. And what he's chosen to keep in his living room, on display beneath the family television in the most used room in the house, is a fossil. A stone, with the paw print of a dog that walked on it thousands of years ago. It's personal and professional at the same time, and it's exactly the kind of detail you'd expect from a character like Bandit, a man who brings his work home not as a burden, but because he genuinely loves what he does. Secret number 16. The dog bone from Bandit's work trip is on display. While we're talking about Bandit's fossils, remember the episode where he gave a presentation about a dog bone he found on a work trip? That bone is still in the house. If you look at the back of the living room near a plant pot, you can spot it sitting there on display. It made it from the field to the presentation to a permanent spot in the family home. And you can also catch it in the mini episode Archaeology if you know where to look. It's a small continuity detail, the kind of thing that rewards viewers who pay attention across multiple episodes. The Bluey team doesn't just build a house, they build a house with a history. Objects appear, get referenced in episodes, and then stay in the background permanently, accumulating meaning over time. That bone has a story, and it's been sitting in that living room this whole time. Secret number 17. There's a photo of Chili's dad as a young soldier. Look at the pictures in the front living room carefully. Among the family photos and decorative frames, there's one showing a younger version of Chili's dad, dressed in a military uniform, photographed during what appears to be a period of active service. It's a quiet, respectful detail, a reminder that the family history sitting inside the Heeler house goes back further than Bluey and Bingo, further than Chili and Bandit, into a generation that faced things neither of them ever had to. It's not highlighted. It's not the subject of an episode. It just sits there on the wall, the way old family photos do, present, familiar, and carrying more weight than most people who walk past them ever stop to consider. Secret number 18. The Victory Cross on the other side of the room. Still in the same scene, look to the other side of the living room. Near the door, there's a framed cross on the wall. It appears to be a military medal. And on the opposite wall, there's a photo of Chili's dad wearing a uniform. Put those together and the implication is pretty clear. That medal likely belonged to him. And instead of being stored away in a drawer, it's framed and displayed in the living room, treated with the same respect as a family photograph. It's a quiet but meaningful detail in the Healer house, and one that most viewers never notice. Secret number 19. There's a Hamtaro plush in the corner of the living room. This one is for fans who grew up in the early 2000s. In the corner of the living room, there's a small plush toy, and if you look closely, it looks a lot like Hamtaro, the hamster from the popular Japanese anime that aired all over the world in the early 2000s. If that's the case, it means there's a subtle anime reference hiding right inside the Bluey living room. Do Bluey and Bingo watch anime? We can't say for sure, but it wouldn't be surprising if someone on the Bluey team, who likely grew up during that era, slipped in a small nod to the cartoon hamster many fans remember. Old school viewers might recognize this one immediately. Secret number 20. The egg-shaped lamp between the girls' beds. Back in the bedroom for this one. Between Bluey and Bingo's beds, there's a lamp with a shade shaped like an egg, smooth, rounded, and softly glowing between the two sisters at night. What's interesting is that the egg doesn't seem to connect to anything else in the room. It's not a fruit like the rugs, not a reference to a character, and not related to Bandit's job or Chili's cooking. It's just an egg lamp. Sometimes even a detail-focused design team adds something simply because it looks nice. And somehow, this quiet little egg lamp fits perfectly in the Healer house. We're in the final stretch now, and some of the best secrets are still coming. Secret number 21. The mulberry tree in the backyard. Head outside to the Healer backyard and look toward the far end of the garden. There's a small mulberry tree back there. Not just a generic tree, but a real mulberry. The kind that grows dark purple berries that stain your fingers the moment you touch them. If you grew up in Australia, you probably know exactly what that's like. And here's the funny part. The Healer family has this mulberry tree sitting in their backyard full of fruit, and somehow they just leave it alone. Which raises an important question. If you had a mulberry tree in your yard, would you really have the self-control not to eat all the berries the moment they ripened? Because honestly, that might be the most unrealistic thing in the entire show. Secret number 22. The wasp nest, hidden behind the plant pot, still in the backyard. But this one is less charming and significantly more alarming. In the barbecue episode, if you look carefully at the upper area of the backyard, up high, tucked behind a plant pot where nobody would think to look, there is a wasp nest. A real, active-looking wasp nest, just sitting there in the family backyard, near where the kids play. Bandit really needs to deal with that before one of the girls finds it the hard way. It's the kind of background detail that makes you genuinely anxious on behalf of a cartoon family, which is either a sign of excellent background design or a sign that you've been watching too much Bluey. Probably both. Secret number 23. The flamboyant tree. While you're outside, look at the striking red tree in the Healer garden. Most viewers have noticed it. It's hard to miss given the color, but very few people know what it actually is. That tree is called a flamboyant. Also known as the Royal Poinciana, it's a tropical tree famous for its dramatically vivid, red-orange flowers that bloom in large, flat clusters across the canopy. They're native to Madagascar, but have been planted widely across subtropical regions of Australia, particularly in Queensland. And here's the thing. Bingo actually answers the question of what that tree is herself in the BBQ episode. She names it. It's right there in the dialogue. But because it happens quickly and casually, almost nobody catches it, which means one of the most beautiful details in the entire Healer backyard has been hiding in plain sight and in plain hearing this entire time. Secret number 24. The garage is full of secrets. The garage is one of the least seen spaces in the Healer house. It rarely appears in the series, but when it does, there are a few details worth pausing for. First, there's a surfboard leaning against the wall with a pineapple design on it, another pineapple hidden somewhere in the house. There's also a field hockey trophy sitting in the garage. Since Chili is the one who loves field hockey, it likely belongs to her, probably a trophy from her playing days before becoming mom. And tucked in the corner, there's even an old radio that Bandit never seems to use. Small details like these give a quick glimpse into the family's life beyond what we see in each episode. Secret number 25. Bingo's beach chair has a seahorse pattern. In the barbecue episode, Bingo decides she just wants to relax. Very on brand. She grabs a beach chair and sits down, and if you look closely, the pattern on the chair is seahorses. Now that's interesting. Bingo is known for loving animals, especially insects. She's always protecting bugs and learning about tiny creatures throughout the show. But the chair she chooses doesn't have insects or any of her usual favorites on it. It has seahorses. A tiny background detail, but it quietly tells us something new about Bingo. She likes seahorses, and most viewers never even noticed it. Secret number 26. The map of Australia on the playroom wall. While you're in the playroom, look up from the rug and check the back wall. There's a picture hanging there, and if you're good with maps, or if you pause the episode and look closely, you'll realize it's not just any picture. It's a map of Australia, and the highlighted region on that map is Queensland, specifically the area around Brisbane, which is, of course, where Bluey's city is located. It's the show's quiet, understated way of telling you exactly where all of this is happening. No big announcement, no title card, just a map on a child's playroom wall, doing the work in the background while the episode plays out in the foreground. That's the kind of storytelling detail that makes Bluey different from almost every other children's show on television. Secret number 27. There's a drawing of Bluey and Jean-Luc on the same wall. Right next to those height markings, in the same scene, there's a drawing on the wall. And if you look at it closely, you can make out two figures. One of them recognizably Bluey, and the other her Canadian friend Jean-Luc. Bluey drew it herself. It's sitting right there next to her mom's careful chalk height marks. A child's drawing, pinned or painted onto the wall beside the cabinet. It's the healer house layering its details again. In a single corner of a single scene, a mother's record of her children growing, and a child's drawing of a friend from far away, you get a whole story about family, memory, and connection compressed into a background shot that lasts maybe 3 seconds. That's what makes this show extraordinary. Secret number 28. Bandit's office has bones in the cabinet. Step into Bandit's home office and look at the cabinet beside his desk. Inside it, bones and a skull. Actual animal bones and a skull stored in a display cabinet in his personal workspace the way other people might store books or files or family photos, which makes complete sense when you remember that Bandit is an archaeologist. These are specimens, research materials, objects he has found, preserved, and kept as part of his professional life. But knowing all of that doesn't make it any less startling the first time you notice a skull staring at you from inside a background cabinet in an animated children's show. Those bones were once a living animal, walking around, existing in the world. And now they're in a cabinet in Bandit's office while Bluey and Bingo play in the next room. Do you believe in ghosts? Because if any house in children's television is haunted, it might be this one. Secret number 29. The photo of Bandit and his brothers as children. In the episode Whale Watching, there's a photograph visible in the background. It shows Bandit as a child, alongside his brothers, all of them young, all of them together, captured in a moment from long before the events of the show. And based on the context clues in the image, it appears the photo was taken at the beach. Possibly during that trip when Bandit first met Chili, the one where she was dressed as Princess Shira. Think about what that means for a moment. That photograph on the wall might actually contain the origin story of Bluey and Bingo's entire existence. The trip where their parents met, the moment that set everything in motion, hanging quietly in the background of a single episode, never commented on, never highlighted. Just there, the way important things in family homes always are. Secret number 30. The Moorish idolfish in the bathroom. And we finish with this one, because it might be the most unexpected of all 30. In the bathroom of Bandit and Chili's bedroom, there is a framed picture on the wall, and the image in that frame is a fish. A specific fish. A Moorish idol. That tall, distinctive black and white and yellow striped fish with the long, trailing dorsal fin. If you're a Pixar fan, you recognized it immediately. The Moorish idol is the species of fish that the tank leader in Finding Nemo belongs to, the one who runs the fish tank at the dentist's office, the same tank that Nemo ends up in, the same tank that the fish are trying to escape from for most of the movie. And where are Bluey's parents keeping a picture of this fish? In the bathroom. Which is, of course, exactly where Nemo's friends were planning their escape route. It's a joke so specific, so buried, and so perfectly placed that it almost feels like it was put there just for the one viewer who would eventually notice it and completely lose their mind over it. 30 secrets, one house. And the truth is, this isn't even everything. The Healer house keeps giving the longer you look at it. New details keep turning up. New connections keep revealing themselves. Because that's what the Bluey team built. Not just a backdrop for their show, but a living, breathing home full of history and meaning and the kind of love that shows itself in small things. The fruit rugs, the chalk height marks, the soldier's medal on the wall, the fish in the bathroom that nobody was supposed to notice. It all adds up to the same thing, a family that exists even when the camera isn't watching them. And that's what makes Bluey unlike anything else.